Even worse than people listening and believing the words that come out of the mouths of unqualified talking heads like Trevor Noah, Stephen Colbert, and Jimmy Kimmel, as if what they say somehow constitutes actual news. Here's a perfectly legitimate question I have, despite my belief that being educated doesn't equal being intelligent. Why are people listening to LeBron James, a guy that hasn't come close to being oppressed in his entire adult life, about any issue pertaining to any kind of justice? Hey everybody, thanks for joining me once again for another edition of Things That Need to Be Said here on MRC-TV. I'm Nick Kangadis. By now, most of you know that I've pretty much given up on sports, something that I've participated in and watched my entire life. I have no teams that I call my favorites or my own anymore, so trust me when I say there's no other bias that I have towards LeBron other than I've never been a fan of his, even when he first came into the NBA. Despite his best attempts and the attempts of the media towards protecting this guy from any criticism and shaming those for disagreeing with him, LeBron opens his mouth whenever he can about social justice, systemic racism, and whenever a police officer shoots a black dude and proceeds to put his foot in it. Don't believe me? Well, let me enlighten you, friends. A little over a week ago, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva issued a challenge to LeBron, calling on him to match the reward money being offered toward information that leads to the arrest of the criminal who walked up to an LAPD vehicle and opened fire on two officers just sitting there. The officers are expected to both recover from the attack, but the criminal is still at large. Villanueva initially doubted that LeBron would even respond to the challenge, and his doubts have pretty much been confirmed since LeBron still hasn't even acknowledged it. Well, after this past Sunday night's playoff game that saw the Lakers beat the Nuggets to go up 2-0, if you even care about that, James said the following, in which he actually referenced the wounded officers for the first time.
You know, nonviolence is what it's all about too. You know, we don't want anyone to be injured. We don't want anyone to be hurt. You know, my condolences goes out to the officers that were shot in Los Angeles. You know, and we want justice for that, as well as we want justice for Breonna Taylor and so on and so on. So, you know, we don't want no violence. You know, and we preach for the better of love and peace, and hopefully we can get that at some point in our communities, but us as a nation, because that's what's going to make us the greatest nation again.
I call bullshit. Now listen, I don't believe LeBron is heartless and actually wants police officers to be hurt. The guy actually does some decent charitable things. But we're talking about this situation. And guess what LeBron is ponying up money for? The fines of felons so that they can vote in the upcoming election. Outkick the Coverage reported that LeBron is apparently partnering with a group called the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition to get the voting rights of convicted felons restored. So let me get this straight. This dude can pony up money so that criminals can vote, but he can't even acknowledge the challenge issued to him that would go toward getting some of the justice that people like LeBron are supposedly so passionate about? Oh, and remember how he said, "We preach for love and peace"? Well, how about this tweet LeBron sent out after the confrontation between Kenosha police and Jacob Blake? Quote, "And y'all wonder why we say what we say about the police. Another black man being targeted," unquote. That didn't age well. LeBron talks out of both sides of his mouth because it's profitable for him. Not that LeBron is hurting for money or anything, but he must have seen all that scratch still unemployed quarterback Colin Kaepernick is making off of his activism and decided to speak up more. He also saw how the forever better than him Michael Jordan even got flack for not being as vocal about social issues when he was playing and began to speak up more and more. When it comes to a lot of things, LeBron is just an opportunist. Just like Kaepernick, just like Antifa, just like BLM, just like any garden variety communist. They're publicly about the cause, but privately about what can enrich them and their friends. Just look at how LeBron and other major NBA stars acted when China threatened to pull their cash from the NBA. That just makes them cowards as well. LeBron defends, praises, and now seemingly funds felons. You know how so many people say for others to put their money where their mouth is? LeBron does just that. The only problem is that there's no actual justice being done in his name or his wallet. So, I'd like to get your take on all of this. Am I way off, or are these things that needed to be said? Let me know in the comments, where I do read most of them and respond to some. Oh, and follow me on Parler. If you like this video, don't forget to share it and give it a thumbs up. Those are the two best ways to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that they might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video if they haven't taken it down already. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.